When my wife Sarah and I moved into the old house on Oakridge Lane, it felt like a dream come true. We had been searching for months for a quiet place away from the city noise, and this one seemed perfect. It had 2 floors, big windows, and an old charm that made it feel special. The air around it was calm, and the sound of trees moving in the wind gave the place a peaceful feeling. We both thought we'd finally found a home where we could start fresh. For the first few days, everything was normal. We were busy unpacking boxes, cleaning rooms, and laughing at how big the place was compared to our old apartment. Sarah loved the kitchen, and I was already thinking about setting up my small music studio in one of the spare rooms upstairs. Everything felt fine until the 3rd night. That night, I woke up suddenly. I didn't know what time it was, but when I looked at the clock on the nightstand, it showed 3:12 a.m. The room was completely dark except for the faint light coming from the street outside. I didn't move for a few seconds. I was just lying there, listening, and that's when I heard it, a whisper. At first it was so soft I thought maybe it was the wind outside, but then I heard it again, clearer this time, coming from right beside the bed. It was a voice, a quiet, breathy voice that said my name, Michael. My body froze. My first thought was that Sarah was talking in her sleep. I turned slowly to look at her, but she was facing the other way, sound asleep. Then the voice came again, only this time it said something else. "Why did you come back?" The words went straight through me. The voice didn't sound angry, and it sounded sad, like someone was disappointed. I sat up, turned on the lamp, and looked around the room. Nothing. The door was closed, the window was shut, and everything looked normal. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been standing right next to me. The next morning, Sarah found something strange. At the end of the upstairs hallway, there was a door we hadn't noticed before. It was old and covered with a layer of paint, as if someone had tried to seal it shut. The doorknob looked rusted and worn, and when I tried to turn it, it wouldn't move. It felt ice cold, like it had been in a freezer. We joked that maybe it was just a storage room or an old closet and didn't think much of it. But that night, the knocking started. It began just after midnight. 3 slow knocks coming from behind that same door. I remember the sound clearly. Deep, hollow, and perfectly spaced. I looked at Sarah, and she was already staring at me, wide-eyed. She tried to convince me it was just the wood expanding from the cold, but I could tell she didn't really believe it. I didn't either. The next day, I decided to use one of my old sound recorders. I used to work as a sound technician, and I thought maybe I could catch whatever was making the noise. I placed the recorder in the hallway, right in front of the locked door, and left it running through the night. The following morning, I played it back. At first, it was normal. A bit of wind, some floor creaks, nothing strange. But after a few minutes, I heard something that made my skin crawl. A soft whisper, almost too quiet to notice. A woman's voice, "Please, help me." I stopped the recording and replayed it several times to be sure I wasn't imagining things. But it was real. Then, right after her voice, there was another one. A man's voice, deep and rough, saying something else. "She's mine." That second voice didn't sound human. It was low, distorted, almost like a growl. I felt a wave of cold go through me. That night, Sarah said she didn't want to stay upstairs anymore. She said the mirrors in the hallway were fogging up even when it wasn't cold, and she had started seeing small handprints on the glass. Once, while brushing her hair in front of the mirror, she said she saw something behind her, a tall shadow standing in the corner of the room. When she turned around, nothing was there. But when she looked back into the mirror, the shadow was closer. A few days later, an old man from the neighborhood came by. He introduced himself as Mr. Halbrook. When he saw the house, his face changed. He asked if we really bought this place. When I said yes, he looked uneasy. Then he told me something I wish I never heard. He said a family had lived here many years ago, the Whittakers. They had a young daughter named Emily. One night she went missing and they never found her body. Her father went mad. He told people he could hear her voice whispering through the walls, asking for help. He died a few months later. After that, the house stayed empty for years. That night, the knocking came again, louder this time. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my flashlight and went upstairs while Sarah begged me not to go. The air felt heavy as I walked down the hall. When I reached the door, I could hear something moving behind it. slow breathing, like someone was standing right on the other side. I took a deep breath and kicked the door open. The room inside was small, almost empty. The air was freezing cold. There was a little rocking chair in the center of the room, moving slowly back and forth even though the air was still. A tiny music box sat on the floor, playing a broken lullaby. I stepped closer, shining the flashlight around the walls, and that's when I saw it. Words, written in faded black letters. Across the cracked plaster, "She never left." The flashlight started flickering. I felt something behind me, a shift in the air, like someone was standing there. I turned around and saw it, a tall, dark shape in the corner. Its face wasn't clear. It kept changing, like static on a TV screen. I shouted, "Who are you? What do you want?" The shadow moved closer, and then I heard a deep voice. The same one from the recording. "You opened the door." Suddenly, every light in the hallway started flashing. The pictures on the wall fell to the ground, the glass shattering all around us. Sarah screamed from behind me, and then everything went dark. I don't remember what happened after that. The next thing anyone knows, the house was found empty. The police said there were no signs of a struggle, no broken locks, nothing missing. But they did find my sound recorder lying on the floor near that open door. The last few seconds of the tape caught a soft voice, a woman whispering, "Thank you for setting me free." Then a child's giggle, and finally the same deep growling voice said, "Now you're mine." They say the house still stands on Oakridge Lane. No one has lived there since, but people who walk by at night say they can sometimes see lights flickering upstairs around 3 in the morning. And if the street is quiet enough, they claim they can hear something else, a whisper in the dark, calling out softly, "Why did you come back?"